So let's talk about Google. They're rolling out some new security changes for their Gmail product, but it's not just the Gmail that maybe I use. It's for G Suite, which is sort of the business persons. And you pay for that.
Correct.
Right.
So G Suite is a suite of tools, of applications, much like the consumer version, but you get some data protection and you get a few extra tools on the back end to export and control your data. What Google is rolling out here is three things. One, it's the user experience, which everyone will see is a refresh, redesigned Gmail experience.
Will that be for people who aren't in part of G Suite too? For regular people?
Consumers will see a refreshed Gmail experience. You'll also see new privacy features. So instead of a small little flag at the top, you'll see for phishing emails, for anything that looks suspicious, you'll see a big red flag that says, this is suspicious.
Right.
And the final thing is artificial intelligence.
Yes.
So when you respond on the mobile app, often you see suggested responses, or even within the Google, the Gmail web application, you'll see an enhanced suite of AI-powered tools that will help you sort and sift emails faster and more efficiently.
That made me a little bit nervous because that AI is reading your emails.
Well, they are scanning, their tools are scanning your emails for certain types of keywords. But Google on the back end has hired more artificial intelligence talent than any other company in Silicon Valley. These are PhDs and other people who worked in academics. Google has now acquired these people. So we will see on the front end some of these changes in Gmail. On the back end, Google is, well, first watching what Facebook is doing, and second, responding in a way so that AI is something that increases our brand fuzziness and warm feelings about them.
How interesting. I also read about a feature that would allow emails to expire, to just sort of disappear?
Correct.
Okay.
So Google, the definition of disappear is still a little ambiguous.
Right.
But being able to send an email and set a date or a time where this email will vanish from the receiver's inbox is something that could really help us feel a little more comfortable. I'm sure all of us have sent something that maybe is not professionally limiting, but like, well, I really don't need this to live in somebody else's inbox for perpetuity.
Right. But, I mean, how sort of effective would that be? You can easily sort of screen grab an email and that sort of thing. And do you know if the emails exist somewhere else, if they're not in that person's inbox? Do they exist in a cloud someplace?
Well, we definitely know that email has to pass through what's called an MX, a mail exchange server. No matter what, it has to pass through these servers, and anything that goes through MX, even though Google is very secure, can be stolen through what's called a man-in-the-middle attack. That's somebody accessing the MX records or doing something that would divert a copy of the email to a destination you may not want.
Right. Okay, let us talk quickly about the European Union's General Data Protection Regulation. 1 month to go. Companies in Europe are scrambling to be in compliance. And, you know, some have suggested that this is actually going to really hit smaller startups harder than it does a Google and a Facebook. They have the resources, to get in line and probably have other revenue streams, even though they rely heavily on this sort of data, and the small startups don't.
That's exactly right. You laid out the equation there. That's pretty easy for a lot of us to understand. If you run an SMB, that's a smaller middle market business, or a startup, there's opportunity cost to everything you do. So being in compliance with the GDPR could mean that, well, we hire X lawyers. That means we don't hire Y employees. Or it could mean that you don't know you have PII, personal identifiable information, and you go, oh, dang, I have to get compliant very quickly.
And if you don't, the fines are hefty.
Correct.
Right. Well, we'll see how it unfolds. Certainly on this side of the pond, regulators and tech people are watching very, very closely to see what happens here. Dan Patterson, thank you very much.
Thank you.